Okay guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. Alright guys, I'm back and it's Sunday, but it's kind of not Sunday. It's kind of Monday because it just hit 12:02 a.m. So actually it's Monday, April the 6th. So anyway, let me get right in, pick up from where we left off here because I still have, that's not where we left off. Let me hang on here. And I'm still waiting for the video that I did before this to upload because it takes forever for them to kind of sift through it and make sure that you haven't said anything that isn't, you know, banned. So anyway, it'll be up there shortly. Okay, well, I'm just going to pick up from where I left off in the last video because I have more stuff to cover, and instead of making one video that's like an hour and a half to 2 hours long, I'll make two. All right, so let's just jump in here. This from John Cardillo. 6,200 doctors in 30 nations are touting the efficacy of hydrochloroquine in treating COVID-19. Fauci continues to downplay and stall while his benefactor Bill Gates builds vaccine plants. True. Italy, hydrochloroquine works. France, hydrochloroquine works. Spain, hydrochloroquine works. Brazil, hydrochloroquine works. Dr. Fauci, there's no strong evidence it works. I don't trust this man. I think he's working against us, not for us. I think he is a deep state plant, and I just don't particularly trust him. I noticed in the last press briefing that he was not up front but seated. So I don't know what's going on there, but I know people are asking, well, doesn't Trump realize? Trump's not stupid. Really, he's not stupid. He knows if that's the case, that he's deep state, and it certainly appears that he is, then it's for a reason. Trump's using it for a reason. That's what I personally believe. Now let's look at this from James Woods. The president has made it clear this is a war. In war, you take risks. Hydrochloroquine will be a last resort for people who are most certainly terminal. The only casualties from the drug would be the fake news trolls who will succumb from disappointment with its success. And doesn't it seem like that's the case, that these people are actually really disappointed that this drug is working? And they're saying, oh, no, it's not safe, it's not proven. So what? If you're going to die and people have had success, I think you should have the right to try it. And isn't that what the law that President Trump passed not that long ago, the right to try bill passed for such an occasion as this? It has been FDA approved. It's a drug that is FDA approved. It just has not been approved for the use with COVID because nobody knew that it was effective against it. But it's like a lot of drugs. Right now, I'm on a drug that if you looked at what it's for, it's not specifically stated that it's for the condition that I have. But I take it because its off-label use is for the condition that I have. So my doctor, after I presented him with a lot of medical papers that were peer-reviewed papers on the subject, he said, yeah, you know what? You've convinced me. I will try this drug with you, and it's helping me. So where nothing else would. So sometimes, just like hydrochloroquine, no, it wasn't developed. It's an anti-malaria drug. And I was actually on this when I went to the rainforest in Central America to teach. And I was on that drug because, mosquitoes everywhere, huge mosquitoes. So anyway, so I don't understand what the deal is. Shouldn't people be happy? Like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. And literally, if I was dying, I would want the ability to be able to try that drug or have them try that drug on me, because in almost all cases, people have a dramatic turnaround. So I don't understand. It's a safe relatively safe. No drug is safe, completely safe. But as far as this drug goes, yes, it's relatively safe. So, and it's got FDA approval, so it doesn't have to go through all that. So it's not that big a deal. It's not that big a deal. But the press, they're the ones that are making it a big deal. I think they want more people to die. I think they're saying, oh, wait, not enough people have died yet. We need more people to die. Come on. It sells newspapers. It's our ratings go up. Anyway, and this from Emerald Robinson. At tonight's CV briefing at the White House, Dr. Fauci was not on stage to speak, but he was seated to the side of the briefing room. He didn't make eye contact with anyone. Per Pool report, it appears that he's been sidelined, benched. Well, that kind of makes me happy because I don't trust the man at all. All right. Now, this from Nancy Brisky. Knowing that President Trump has clues in his tweets, I wanted to dig further on the misspelling of children. He spelled it chidren, whatever. He switched the D and the L. I came across many accidental misspellings in my search of children, but this one, which is purposeful, caught my eye. The company's name is Alibaba. It is the world's largest retailer and e-commerce company, one of the largest internet and AI companies, one of the biggest venture capital firms, and one of the biggest investment corporations in the world based in China. Its market value as of December 2018 was $352.28 billion. It sells absolutely everything, anything you could be looking for, similar to Amazon or eBay, but it has even more variety than those. One of the brands it carries is CHIDLREN, which is exactly the spelling that Trump used. And guess what it sells? What else it sells? Yeah, this right here, their special potion that they all seem to take and relish and need to keep themselves young looking. It is so bizarre that honestly, if I did not know it was true, I'd be like, who would believe that? Really? I mean, if I read that in a book, I'd be like, who'd believe that there's a substance that, you get and it makes you young, but once you stop taking it, you age. They're all looking awful. I mean, you can see the people in Hollywood. None of them are looking good at all. It's the most bizarre thing ever. So I think that's interesting. And obviously this person thought so. There is a record of Alibaba donating $250,000 to the Clinton Foundation in 2005, but cut back its sponsorship starting in 2012. Plus, Bill Clinton received an undisclosed amount as a speaking fee. Obviously, Alibaba is a huge importer and exporter and works closely with the ports. They also use Western Union for their money transactions, which, if you remember, so did Kate Spade. Western Union and the Clintons are tied together too. Just thought that was interesting, and could be, because we know that Trump, his misspellings are on purpose. People like to pass it off as him being a bumbling idiot. He's nothing of the sort. And I think that he disarms people, because he does come across sometimes as just kind of a good old boy, really, he does sometimes. And I think it gets people off balance. They're like not sure. But really, he's extremely intelligent, and he's playing a master game of chess while these people are playing checkers, basically. All right, now let's go on here. And this video will not be as long. I'm saying that to myself more than I am saying it to you, because, the Sandman is visiting me and I'm getting a little sleepy. All right. Reporter tells Donald Trump that Biden attacked him in a tweet. I love this. President Trump, he didn't write that. He probably He's probably not even watching right now, and if he is, he doesn't understand what he is watching. Oh, you gotta love this guy. I mean, really. He can troll like no one else in the world has ever trolled. He's the master, and people should take lessons. Let's listen to what he has to say here.
I don't want to comment as to whether or not, but I agree with their decision 100%. In the back, please.
Joe Biden actually just attacked you in a tweet. I don't know if you have seen it.
He just what?
Attacked you. He just said...
Well, he didn't write anything. Look, here's professionals from the Democrats
Mr. President, let
writing.
me just read what he said. He said, Donald Trump is not responsible for the coronavirus, but he is responsible for failing to prepare our nation to respond to it. How do you respond to that, sir?
He didn't write that. That was done by a Democrat operative. He doesn't write. He's probably not even watching right now. And if he is, he doesn't understand what he's watching. But just so you understand, it was very nice what they wrote out. I don't know, they released it at a strange time, sort of a strange time to release something like that. But he admitted I was right. And if you read the Federalist story, which most of you won't, because you don't want to, but you'd learn something, because if it goes through a chart, times. I was early. Dr. Fauci, I don't think he's changed his mind, but he said it was a very important step when we stopped China from coming in from the specific area that was heavily infected. We'd have a whole different thing right now.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
I don't really know what Joe Biden said. I don't really care. And again, I see every once in a while I'll say something, I'll make a speech, and then it'll be critiqued, and I'll get this beautiful, brilliant critique. Joe Biden didn't write that. Joe Biden didn't write that. He wished he did, but...
He wished he did. It's true, though. He's not writing that stuff. There's absolutely no way, because you hear him speak and he doesn't know where he is, what he's doing. He forgets his points. But for President Trump to say that takes some stones. Really, it does. He didn't write that. He's probably not even watching right now. And if he is, he doesn't understand what he's watching. Oh, you know what? I love that man more and more. I don't know. People here, it's like the press 24/7 down on Trump. And it's like to try to explain this to anybody up here is like talking to a brick wall. There's a few people that have their eyes open. Definitely there are, but not as many as in the States, that's for sure. Anyway, let's go back now. And let's look at this. Okay, that's not what I wanted. Clear airport. Let me see if I can find it, because I'm a little curious why this wasn't in any of the news. Let's see if I can pull it up. Yeah, okay. A massive fire, and this is from, this is actually, 8 hours ago, and this was 5 minutes ago. A massive fire burns near the Southwest Florida International Airport. And what happened is 3,500 rental cars caught fire. I mean, massive, massive fire. Look at this. And some of the pictures are just astounding of this. It says the rental car lot is on fire at Southwest Florida Regional Airport in Fort Myers, Florida. 2 helicopters doing bucket drops, not having much effect. That was April 3rd. Look at this. Look at this picture right here. Now this is News 4, but fire near Florida Airport burns 3,500 rental cars. Like, ouch. Can you imagine how much money that's worth? And I don't understand why has this not been in the news? Or has it? Have I missed it? Because I thought I was paying attention, but I didn't see anything about this until today. I happened to see something and I thought, what is that? But there they are dropping water on it. 3,500 rental cars were destroyed by fire yesterday near Fort Myers, Southwest Florida International Airport. Charlotte County sheriffs aviation unit completed over 80 water drops with few traveling due to COVID-19 pandemic. Majority of rental cars everywhere are parked. And also, it wasn't just the cars that burned. I guess there were some homes that burned down as well. So that is not good. I mean, the cars burning is one thing, but to burn somebody's home, I mean, and I don't know if this was on purpose or something that got out of hand. I don't know because I haven't seen anything about this in the news except for here, and they're not saying what the cause was. So if you guys, any of you guys, and some of you must live in Florida, so if any of you are in this area and know about this, if you know the cause of this, let us know in the comments below, because I'm curious. It says a fire that spread through a grassy area, but was it just a bushfire? Was it like a natural organic fire that sprung up from a lightning strike or something, or was it set? I don't know. But it's a very interesting story that we haven't heard very much about at all. And that makes me wonder in and of itself what this is all about. But I mean, phenomenal pictures of it. I mean, this was a monstrous storm. So anyway, let's go on from that. I just wanted to make sure you guys knew about that and to ask you guys if this was in the news and I missed it. All right, and let's look at this. Oh, yes. See, this guy, I'm sorry, but this makes me irate. Like really irate. CNN's Jay Diamond presses Trump on why he is promoting hydroxychloroquine as a potential coronavirus treatment. I want them to try it, and it may work, and it may not work. Only CNN would ask that question. Fake news. Let's listen to Trump.
Unbelievable results. And it also gives the people hope. Yes, please.
The doctors who are treating coronavirus patients, they have the medical expertise to determine whether or not they should prescribe hydroxychloroquine.
And many of them
And there are already clinical trials in place looking at hydroxychloroquine.
Sure.
So
They should be finished in about a year.
Why not just let the science speak for itself? Why are you promoting this drug?
I'm not. I'm just saying very simply, I'm not at all. I'm not. You know what I'm trying to do?
Well, you come out here every day, right, sir, talking about the benefits of
I want them to try it, and it may work and it may not work. But if it doesn't work, it's nothing lost by doing it, nothing. Because we know long-term what I want to save lives. And I don't want it to be in a lab for the next year and a half as people are dying all over the place.
Out there. Doctors are already able to prescribe it off label, right?
All I'm doing
so what
is
do you
saying,
accomplish?
well, I'll tell you what.
Now, this guy is like a big slime pot of mucus. Probably COVID-infected mucus. He's a slime pot. Because listen to this question. Now, do you think he's asking because he's concerned or he really wants to know? No, he's trying to get Trump to say something that he can then go back to CNN with and write about and twist. That's what he's doing. And you can even see it. He looks like he's a slime pot, a snake in a slime pot, an infected, mucus-ridden snake in a slimy slime pot. I don't know, but he bugs me. I don't like him.
What I accomplished. We bought massive amounts of it, 29 million doses of it. We have it coming from all of the labs. We're actually now doing it here because in case it does work, we want to have it. And we've given it to drugstores. We're sending it all over. FEMA's doing it. We're doing it through different channels, many different channels, including the companies that make it. It's a very special thing. Now, it may not work, in which case, hey, it didn't work. And it may work, in which case it's going to save a lot of lives. Now, a lot of people say if the people walking in prior to getting it, if they take it, it has a profound effect. Well, maybe it does and maybe it doesn't. I don't want to wait a year and a half to find out.
Right.
And only CNN would ask that question. Fake
That's
news.
true.
Go ahead.
Sir, I have you on question. First, I was hoping to ask Dr. Carter.
And he's right. Only CNN would ask that question. It's a stupid question. It's already FDA approved. It's been in use for years and years and years. Many, many years. It's a tried and true drug. It works against malaria, and they have found that in many cases it's successful in treating COVID-19. So why wouldn't you use it? Why? Many of these people that are taking this as a last resort, they're going to die anyway. I mean, it's absolutely insane, that line of questioning. And it was so obvious. It is so obvious what he's doing. And you know, it irritates people. This is why people don't want to watch press briefings. It's not because of President Trump. It's not because of the panel, even though I don't particularly trust the panel. It's because of idiots like this. That's why. All right. It's frustrating. I mean, it's got to be frustrating to Trump, but it's frustrating to all us because we look at this and it's so transparent and we think, my gosh, this poor man is head of a country that is facing a pandemic, and you're just constantly trying to trap him. It's sickening. It's absolutely sickening. I don't know how Trump stands up to it all, but he does. He's a much better man than most, if you ask me. I don't know of anyone that could stand up to that kind of pressure. I really don't. All right, let's look at this. Okay, now this warmed the deep, dark recesses of my heart, because I'm telling you, this is absolutely awesome. And of course, you know, today is Palm Sunday. Today is the day that Jesus rode into Jerusalem on a donkey, and everyone grabbed palm leaves from the trees and they worshiped him, saying, Hosanna, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. So this is called Palm Sunday. And interestingly enough, fickle crowd, because 1 week later they crucified him. So anyway, let's listen to what Donald Trump has to say.
In closing, I also want to note today is Palm Sunday and the beginning of Holy Week for Christians in America and all around the world. While we may be apart from one another, as you can see from our great churches, our great pastors and ministers are out there working very hard, but we may be apart. We can use this time to turn to reflection and prayer and our own personal relationship with God. In closing, I also want to note today is Palm Sunday and the beginning of Holy Week for Christians in America and all
It's just
around
playing
the world.
over again.
While we may be apart from one another, as you can see from our great churches, our great pastors and ministers are out there working very hard, but we may be apart. We can use this time to turn to reflection and prayer and our own personal relationship with God.
That's amazing. It's amazing. Now, past presidents have mentioned God, but they've never termed it like that, in our own personal relationship with God, because that's what being a Christian is. It's not just ritual. It's a personal relationship. And I like this. I know that there's a lot of people really upset with this, really upset. They didn't have a problem with Obama saying that we were not a Christian nation anymore. They didn't have any problem with that. They didn't have a problem with Obama, really trashing the Bible, as he did on many occasions. But they sure have a problem with President Trump saying this, which I think is very appropriate. It's Palm Sunday. And, there are many Christians in the nation. Why is this not appropriate for him to say that? I think it's very appropriate. I think it took courage to stand up and say that, and I respect him for it. So let's go back here and let's come down here to this. Now, from USA Today, fact check: did the Obama administration deplete the federal stockpile of N95 masks? Verdict: true. We rate this claim true because it is supported by our research. There is no indication that the Obama administration took significant steps to replenish the strategic national stockpile after it was depleted from repeated crisis during Obama's tenure. Calls for action came from experts at the time concerned for the country's ability to respond to future serious pandemics. Such recommendations were, for whatever reason, not heeded. Now, Obama should have absolutely nothing to say about the way Trump is handling this crisis, because he is responsible in a big way for the mess this country's in right now. Not just with this, but with a lot of things. All right, and let's come down and look at this, because it's one of those ludicrous things. All right, leaf blowers banned for use in Sleepy Hollow for duration of CV pandemic. This is today's news. Leaf blowers. The village of Sleepy Hollows is temporarily banning the use of leaf blowers to make sure residents are safe during the CV pandemic. Apparently, if you blow the leaves off your yard, you have more chance of catching the virus than if you leave the leaves on. I don't know. I'm just trying to, think out their logic, because I don't seem to be following it. Village officials say since the virus is a respiratory condition, having things blown into the air could create a hazmat situation. Oh, are the leaves now? Are the leaves are carrying it now? I mean, this is some bizarre stuff. I don't care what anybody says. Really, it is. So, yeah. Leaf blowers. They're bad. Now, where is Sleepy Hollow? That's what I would like to know. Is it in New York? Well, let's listen to this. No, really, that's
safe during this. Hollow doing its part to make sure residents are safe during this pandemic. Effective immediately, all leaf blowers are banned from use in the village for the rest of the pandemic.
I think she's having a problem, even like it's. Look at her expression. I think she's even having a problem with it. All leaf blowers. Leaf blowers.
Officials say since this is a respiratory condition, having things blown into the air could create a hazmat situation.
Right. Leaf blowers. Well, gee, I'm glad that it's finally turning spring up here. They'd probably ban snow blowers, and then where would we be? Wow, leaf blowers. Who knew? Next, they're going to ban rakes, followed closely by the big garbage bags that you put leaves into. Who knows what's next after that? I don't know. Twigs, maybe. Get all the twigs out of your yard. I don't know. It's everywhere. Leaf blowers. Yeah. I'm going to pretend I didn't see that. All right, and I think I have a couple things over here from the last video that I didn't get to. And let's see what they are. Why not? Okay. Some of this isn't, yeah, let's look at this. Don't know if it's true or not, but New York City doctor, 90% of Mount Sinai Hospital's intake is CV cases. Now, I don't know. There's people going around taking videos of empty hospitals and saying, what, there's no crisis, it's all... I don't believe that. I don't believe it. Now, yes, I think it's being overblown somewhat. But I know I don't know. I just don't believe that there are all these hospitals that, oh no, there's nobody in there. There's just no, it's pretty easy to take a picture of empty place and say, oh, well, that proves it. There's no virus here. I don't know. Having a hard time with that. 90% of Mount Sinai Hospitals' patients are being treated for COVID-19, explains Dr. Louisa Petre, cardiologist and assistant clinical professor of cardiology at the Mount Sinai School of Medicine. She joined Friday's edition of Sirius XM's Breitbart News Tonight to discuss the CV outbreak's impact on hospitals in New York City with host Rebecca Mansour and special guest host Ed Martin. We're definitely almost at full capacity, said Petrie of New York City hospitals. Mount Sinai Hospital converted the cafeteria and the lobby with hospital beds. There's no floor except one left for other non-COVID cases. The whole hospital is almost 90% COVID patients. We still have room, but if you look at the rate of growth of new cases, that's alarming. We're looking at predictions. No prediction model is perfect, but they're very concerning because we are going to reach a peak in 2 to 3 weeks. The Javits Center, a convention center in Manhattan, has been converted into a treatment center. Petrie stated, right now they're even converting the Javits Center. Initially, it was supposed to be just for non-COVID patients. Now they realize they'll be so overwhelmed, they're converting it to a COVID center as well. So yes, we are, I would say, at 80% capacity at this time. I do receive emails for the numbers from the hospitals on a daily basis. I would say that of the COVID patients, around 15% are becoming critically ill and require hospitalization, estimated Petrie, and I would say 5% of those require ICU. I think right now in my site, Mount Sinai, we have about 160 patients on a ventilation system on the main institution. So yeah, and I'm not going to go into all of this, but let me know if you are in New York City. I want to hear from you. Please put your experience down in the comments below, because the rest of us don't have the ability to really understand what's going on in New York City unless there are people there that can come forward and say, you know what, this is what I saw. And I don't care if it proves or disproves anything. I want to know your unique experience. What are you seeing? What are you experiencing? What are you hearing? What are you hearing from friends, coworkers, whoever? I really want to know, because I know people through a friend. It's friends of a friend of mine there that are they do have the virus. They are in serious condition. But I really do want to know other people's opinions. Do you think it's as bad as they're saying? Do you think it's worse than they're saying? Do you think that it's being very, very much overblown there? How do you feel as a New Yorker? And I mean, not just the state of New York. I'm wanting New Yorkers. So, all right, let's go back and take a look at what we've missed. I can't remember what this is, but let's look. Don't want to miss anything. Want you all to have the news, man. Oh yes, we've looked at this before. The letter sent to Senator, or Chuckles. Some of this, yeah, this is interesting, and we mentioned it a little. One of the articles mentioned this, and this is what they're referring to. Bill Gates is funding new factories for 7 potential CVVs, even though it will waste billions of dollars. Well, what does he care? He's got billions of dollars to waste, and he's not getting any younger or better looking. The Microsoft billionaire Bill Gates told The Daily Show on Thursday that his foundation was funding the construction of factories for 7 coronavirus vaccine candidates. Gates said the foundation would end up picking only 1 or 2 of the 7, meaning billions of dollars spent on manufacturing would be abandoned. He said in a situation where the world faces the loss of trillions of dollars to the economy, wasting a few billions to help is worth it. Yeah, well, sure. I mean, if it's your billions, Bill Gates, I don't care. Do you? I don't care if he wastes his billions. Bill Gates is plugging money into building factories for 7 promising CVV candidates, even though it will mean wasting billions of dollars on Thursday. Okay, we just read this. I thought I moved down. Because our foundation has such deep expertise in infectious diseases, we've thought about the epidemic. We did fund some things to be more prepared, like a V effort, Gates said. Our early money can accelerate things. Gates said he was picking the top 7 V candidates and building manufacturing capacity for them, even though we'll end up picking at most 2 of them. We're going to fund factories for all 7 just so we don't waste time in serially saying, okay, which V works, and then building the factory, he said. Gates said that simultaneously testing and building manufacturing capacity is essential to the quick development of a V, which Gates thinks could take about 18 months. In a Washington Post op-ed article published earlier this week, Gates said that some of the top candidates required unique equipment. It'll be a few $billions we'll waste on manufacturing for the constructs that don't get picked because something else is better, Gates said in the clip. But a few billion in the situation we're in, where there's trillions of dollars being lost economically, it is worth it. The Gates Foundation can get that bootstrapped and get it going and save months because every month counts, he adds. We can save months and every month counts. Bill Gates and Trevor discussed combating coronavirus tonight at 11. Okay, that's not tonight though. That was April 2nd. Gates and his wife Melinda Gates have already pledged $100 million towards fighting the CV pandemic, including an effort to send at-home CV test kits to people in Washington state. In his post-op-ed article, Gates urged the government to enforce stricter lockdown measures in every state. Yeah, and estimated that the U.S. would need another 10 weeks of nationwide shutdowns to effectively deal with the crisis. Well, I can tell you this. 10 weeks of this and our economy is going to be completely broken. Really. 10 more weeks of this? Are you kidding? With no stores open and people unable to work and pay rent? No. I don't think so. Anyway, that is it for that. Just so that you know what Bill Gates is up to. I don't care for any other reason than I just don't trust him. And it's, you got to keep your friends close and your enemies closer. So you know what they're doing. You know what they're up to. All right. Now, let's go back here and see if, when we already looked at this about the digital certificates. And I'm sure you know by now, even though I put this in here, I'm sure you're aware by now that Robert Kennedy's granddaughter and his granddaughter's son were involved in a canoeing accident. Now, why they would be canoeing, it's not warm enough to canoe where they were canoeing in just Chesapeake Bay, I believe. And they went to retrieve a ball, and I guess the last time they were seen, they were paddling, struggling against the wind. It was very windy out there, and of course, if a canoe overturned in that water, it would be very, very cold at this time of year, and you would not be able to survive in it. So they have changed it from a search to a search and rescue to a search and recover. So not good. And considering the Kennedy curse, and there really does seem to be one, what is really going on there? I don't know. Would there be any reason that his granddaughter would be targeted? I don't know. I really don't, but I'd like to know. It could be totally innocent, and this was an accident that, they were retrieving a ball that had gone into the Chesapeake Bay, and they were retrieving it. Could be as innocent as that, and they made a bad decision. Now, I personally, being from originally from Canada, I don't think I would want to get into a canoe at this time of year, because the water, if you ever went into the water, especially up here, there'd be no coming out of it. Very, very cold. Yeah, not a wise decision, but it could have been an accident, or could have been something else. So let me know what you guys think about that as well. And if you've heard anything about that I haven't mentioned here, let me know, because I know very limited about it at this point. but I may, if there's reason to, look into it deeper. So that is that for now. And let me see. Oh, yes. I think this is kind of important as well. Excuse me, my back is itching to death. Not sure why. All right. I guess because it's itchy. Sometimes a back doesn't need to let you know why it's itchy. Just itch me. All right. Okay. Former CIA station chief, DNI, Richard Grenell, bringing much needed efficiency to bloated intel company. And of course, this is the new director of national intelligence. Richard Grenell is streamlining the bloated bureaucracy that is the intelligence community in a bid to make it more efficient in tackling the threats confronting America, a former CIA station chief told Breitbart News on Saturday. The intelligence community has rallied behind efforts to make the the Office of National Intelligence, ODNI, more effective, former Central Intelligence Agency Station Chief Daniel Hoffman noted. Grenell is reportedly overhauling the ODNI, which is in charge of the U.S. intelligence community. During the latest edition of the Breitbart News, Saturday Sirius XM satellite radio show hosted by Matt Boyle, Hoffman praised the staffing changes by the nation's top intelligence officer, Grenell, who was appointed by President Donald Trump. I'm pretty strongly in favor of what the administration is doing in this case, he said. Hoffman pointed out that inside the bloated ODNI and its National Counterterrorism Center component, the Intelligence Committee does not have enough intelligence officers to do the job of protecting America. The NCTC has so many people that they were duplicating the mission of other intelligence community entities like the CIA and FBI, he explained, adding, what Director Grenell and the team are doing is sending people back to their home offices. They're reducing the number in the DNI and the NCTC, and that's the right thing to do because we need those people to be doing their job and to give some other folks a break so they can do other things like training. The actions of the Trump administration are going to bring much needed efficiency to our work, Hoffman declared. He pushed back against allegations from the left that Grenell is politicizing ODNI with the staffing changes, saying that overall intelligence officers are passionate and do not have predisposed bias. Hoffman also accused John Brennan, a former CIA director appointed by former President Barack Obama and an MSNBC contributor, of bloating the intelligence community and making it less efficient when he served in one of the ODNI components. Brennan is more of an ideologue than he is an intelligence officer. He sees the world a certain way and he tries to comport the facts to fit his vision, Hoffman proclaimed, noting that the former CIA director has lied about Trump. The DNI has grown so much into a bloated bureaucracy, and Brennan started it when he was director of the precursor to the NCTC, the Terrorist Threat Integration Center, Hoffman explained. He ballooned that up far greater than anyone had envisioned, and so the DNI effectively was making the intelligence community less effective. So this is good, obviously, and you know, the more I see what President Trump does and the changes that he's making, the more I agree with him and think that he's nowhere near the bumbling idiot that people think he is. He's a very, very intelligent man. And, you know, he's intelligent enough to surround himself with intelligent men. You know, a lot of men find that, and women, find that threatening. Whenever I was in management, and I have been in management, I always tried to hire people that were smarter than me. People don't do that. People think, oh, if I hire that person and they're smarter than me, they might take over my job. Well, that's what you want. You want someone smarter than you to take over your job so you can move up. And yeah, seriously, I love to surround myself with people that are smarter than me. I really do. I don't find that intimidating, and I don't find that demeans me in any way. They actually, people that, when you do that, when you find people that are smarter than you to befriend, you grow as a person, really. So anyway, that's just my 2 cents. And I think Trump has done that. I think he's smart enough to know when he's not smart enough, really. And he gets those in that can do the job. He's a good man. He hasn't lasted this long for nothing. I mean, he's got some of the most beautiful hotels in the world. He didn't get there by being a slouch and an idiot. Just saying. All right. Well, you know, I think we have reached the end of this, and it's getting late. It's well, it's going on 1 o'clock here. So I wonder what happens at 1 o'clock. Maybe my pumpkin chariot will come for me. I don't know. Maybe somebody will bring me a shoe to try on. I don't know. Probably not. The stores are all closed. Okay, well, that's it for tonight. I'm going to end it there. Hopefully, the last video has uploaded by now. I'm afraid to check. Yes, it's there. Good. So now this will be there as well, because I'm going to get this uploaded. Thank you guys so much. I'll be back tomorrow, Lord willing, and we will discuss something else. I'm kind of getting a little tired of the CV stuff, so I might try to search out something else tomorrow, or maybe I will have time to finish the iPet Goat 2. All right, well, you guys have a great night. Sleep well, stay safe above all, and keep seeking truth. I'll see you real soon. Good night, guys.